This is what a grid system looks like when you don't design it up front. 7,000 lines of code. I've seen this pattern in a lot of game projects, mine included. Training data, pathfinding, costs, fog of war, building placements. It's all up in the one file. This problem isn't that it doesn't work. It works fine until you want to add something new. You want to add an influence map, you want to add some AI, crack open this 7,000 line code file. Yeah, you want to swap out your pathfinding algorithm for something different. Good luck finding it in here. There's a better way. There is a better way. Let's do it. So here we are. We're back in our project. We're going to introduce the grid layer. So create a new folder. It's going to be cool. We're going to have a thing in here called the IGridLayer. The key idea here is that every subsystem that wants to read or write grid data implements a common interface. We call this the IGridLayer. Class name IGridLayer. Okay, so the script, it doesn't have any formal interfaces. In GDScript, we can't make it an interface, right? So we're going to use a base class with virtual methods. The subclasses will override whatever they need to override. It's basically as good as we get, right? So we're going to have a grid. And it's going to be a grid map. And it's going to be a just grid map. It's going to be equal to null. We're going to have a width. It's going to be an int, and it's going to be equal to 0. We're going to have a height. It's going to be int, and it's going to be equal to 0. All right. There's going to be 3 lifecycle methods that every layer can override. Okay. So we're going to have on register grid map. It's going to be a void. So it's not really going to do too much. Just grid equals grid. Grid, man, grid. Width. It's going to equal grid.width. Height is going to equal grid.height. Easy. What's this problem? The value of grid map cannot be assigned. Okay. We forgot the underscore here. Okay. The next one is gonna be on cell changed. It's gonna be a coord. It's gonna be a grid coord. It's gonna be a void. Wouldn't do anything. Expected statement of the body, a little body, it's bodiless. Okay, and the final, we'll have a function for an update, and that will be a delta float. Hooray! Again, we don't do anything. And function on unregister. unregister or deregister. I don't know. Grid equals no. Radio. Beautiful. Let's we also need a get data. So this is like how the layers are gonna request data from each other via this. It's just a variant. And it's gonna just return no. Rightio. Couple more helper methods. Index, coord, grid coord, int return coord dot to index width. Function in bounds. That's going to be the coord, grid coord, boolean. That's just going to return coord dot x 0 and coord dot y 0 and coord dot x less than width and coord dot y less than height. So the next thing we'll do is the function notify changed coord grid coord void if grid then grid dot layers dot notify cell changed coord. Right. Identify coord is not known. Okay. So that's the last one, I think. Notify changed. Yeah. Okay. So from notify change, this is how all the layers are going to broadcast that it's written to a cell, right? So that is written to a cell. Every other layer in the registry is going to hear about this. It's going to cascade. Yeah, we'll see it in action in a minute. Let's make the layer registry. So in our core, in our layer, we're going to create a new script. That's going to be called the Layer Registry. So the registry is the hub. It's going to own all our layers. It's going to manage the life cycle and the routes. You know, as I said about on those on cell change events, it's going to route all them through. So class name layer registry. Gonna have the grid map. We're gonna have the layers. That's gonna be a dictionary. We're gonna have our update order. Because sometimes you're going to want to update certain layers, certain orders. Put that as a string array and boom. So for function init. Init. It'll be a grid. It's grid. It'll be a void. grid equals grid. The event for grid. What's wrong with me? Okay. That's pretty cool. So the next thing we'll do is how to register. So it's going to be pretty simple. String and the layer IGridLayer. We'll just put that up as a void. So if layers dot has key, so we already have this layer. We can't register a second one. Layer registry overwrite I'm gonna just overwrite. So first we got to unregister the current one. Cool. Then our layers key equals layer. Update order and key layer on register grid. Cool. And we just need the unregister the string void. If not layers as key, so we don't have it, return, we don't need to do anything. Otherwise, we're going to go layer on register, and we're going to go layers dot erase key, and we're going to go update order dot erase key. Okay. We just need to save this, I'm not sure. Okay, cool. So now we need to have a way to get the layers. So this is going to be a typed getter kind of thing. So function get layer. It's going to be a key, it's going to be a string, and it's going to return the IGridLayer. So if not layers as key, push the warning. What? Push warning. Layer registry. No layer. S. Percent key. Okay. Return null. Otherwise, we just return layers key. All right, and function get layer 4. IGridLayer. Return layers get the and no. Okay, notice that we just added this one the get all null. So that's the silent version of the noisy version. It's gonna shout at you and it's gonna make a warning, or we can just, if we're expecting like a null to happen, we can use this one just so it, doesn't yell at us. So we need to do a update all delta void. So just the DT, and that will be a void. So for key update order layer key update delta. Cool. So what we're going to need to do here, so we're going to need to do our notifieds. So notify cell changed, coord, grid, coord, source key as a string, and that equals that. So that can be void. Okay, so for key in update order if key equals source key, continue. You don't want to send an update to yourself. So layers key dot on cell changed. Cool. What's wrong here? If key equals source key, identify key is not, okay, whoops. Alrighty. And notify region changed codes array. So it could be a bunch of grid codes that have changed, and the source key is again is equal to this, and again we return a void. So if key, for key in update order, if key equals source key, continue. Same as before, but now we're going to go layer IGridLayer equals layers key. Okay, and for coord in chords, in our chords, our layer dot on cell changed coord. I think that's all we need to do. Let me see. Let me show you what's happening here. So let's say, for example, our terrain layer writes a cell and it sets it to a water. It calls the notify change cell, and then that will call the registry notify changed, or telling it that the terrain changed. The registry loops through all of the layers, and it will change like the passability layer, flow fields, the fog of war, all of that stuff will get changed. So the passability layer will wake up and it will go, oh, this cell has changed. Let me look up the new terrain flags, compute my cost for the cells. The flow field will change and rebuild. So all of that's going to happen basically automatically. The train layer doesn't know about any of it. So it's kind of like train layer, set tile, right? Set, and I suck at writing. Set tile, and it goes, yeah, notify, and then it goes through all the registry. And then layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, they all just get updated just like that. Alrighty, I think we're getting close to being able to do a little demo here. Let's have a look at the grid map. So in the grid map, we're going to need a layers registry. So we're going to need to go layers, the layer registry. So when we create it, we're going to go layers equals layer registry dot new, and we will pass ourselves in. So we need a couple new functions here. Function register layer, key string layer, IGridLayer. That's going to be the void. Now that's going to be the layers registry key layer. Alright, then we're going to have to do get layer, which will be the key and the string, and that will return IGridLayer. So then we just return layers dot get layer layer key. Yeah. Function notify changed. So coord, grid coord, source key string equals that. So layers dot notify cell changed. Coord source key. Okay. Function tick takes a delta float and void layers they all delta. Alrighty. Let's write the simplest layer function, layer implementation that we can. It's just going to print stuff out for us, right? Let's make a layers folder. Let's make a new script and we'll call that the print layer. So it's going to be a class name, print layer. It's going to extend IGridLayer. Alrighty, unexpected identifier extend. Yeah, of course it should be extend. Okay, alrighty. All we have to implement is on cell changed coord grid coord void and print cell changed code, and what else do we do? Yeah, data coord, grid coord, variant, return. No, we're not going to do nothing. Return. Oh, because we don't have any data. Okay. Is the coord? Yeah. So, in our testing, in our ready, we make the map, then we register register a layer. It's going to be our debug layer. We're going to call the print layer new. Alrighty. Probably now in the input, if event is input event mouse button and event dot press it's just a barcode grid world to cell get global mouse position what's wrong? Get global mouse position. Okay. And we want to notify the changed cohort. So basically, we're just going to click on a cell and we're just going to notify that it changed. Hopefully this works. So when we're running it, we can see that it will say cell changed at whatever place that we're clicking on. So that's it for now, but in a couple of episodes we'll it'll be a terrain, it'll be a passability, it'll be a flow field. They'll all be reacting automatically to every cell right. It'll be the same mechanism that they all just plug into, so it'll be really easy and extensible and configurable. Yeah, so the layer system is the heart of this framework, right? It's everything that we're going to build. We're going to build on this. We're going to build the terrain, the possibilities, as I said, the fog of wars. It's just a layer that plugs in. It's going to be great. So in this episode 3 that's going to come up, we're going to build our first real layer. It's going to be the terrain layer, right? So this is going to store all our IDs and our flags and our possibility layer. It's going to derive movement costs from the terrain, and it's going to accept extra blockers from buildings and units. The cool moment in that episode is when we paint a water tile, right? And watch the possibility map update itself automatically live on the screen. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. It's actually, you're going to start seeing the map get created, right? So I'll see you there in the next episode.